Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Tofu Sunday here, and I'm back with another MTG Arena showcase. So, if you guys have seen my previous videos, I've been mainly sticking with my Orzhov Vampires and Azura's Tap deck to climb the standard ranked ladder and see how far I could push them. But with the new Murders of Karlov Manor set out, I felt like switching things up and maining a new deck to grind the ladder. I was really vibing with Soldiers at the moment, so today let's take a look at my new Boros Soldiers deck. And of course, before we do jump in, if you like the content like this and find it helpful or entertaining, make sure to like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well so you'll always know when I drop a new video. I'm thinking of more ways to bring you guys content to help us improve at Magic, so let me know in the comments what you guys may find helpful or interesting in future videos. I'm thinking breaking down well-performing meta decks or tournament decks may be helpful for understanding deck building and card synergies, and why certain decks may be working more than others. So let me know what you guys think about that, or if there's a deck you'd want me to break down. Now, without further ado, let's take a closer look at my Boros Soldiers deck. So taking a look at the deck overall, my Boros Soldiers is a red-white aggro tempo deck that focuses on overwhelming my opponent through sheer numbers of tokens and counters, while also disrupting their development with disruptive spells like Play with Fire and Lightning Strike. Its win condition revolves around buffing cards like the Warden of Inner Sky and Anim Pakal, Thousandth Moon, until the opponent is totally overwhelmed. The average turn count to develop my deck's win condition is anywhere from 4 to 6 turns, depending on my opening hand and the deck that I'm up against. So let's take a closer look at the deck synergy. So starting with my 1-cost cards, I'm running the Recruitment Officer, the Warden of Inner Sky, and Play with Fire. So the Recruitment Officer is a great 1-cost card that's going to allow me to search the top 4 cards of my deck and add a creature card of 3 or less mana to my hand at the cost of 4 mana. This is great because when you're running an aggro deck, being able to find the exact cards you need as quickly as possible to continue developing your game plan and momentum is critical to your deck's success. To further facilitate my finding cards and increasing board presence, I'm also running Etali's Favor and the Caparocti Sunborn. So Etali's Favor is a 3-cost enchantment aura that gives a +1/+1 counter to a creature and lets me discover 3. The Caparocti Sunborn is a 4-cost that also lets me discover 3 when it attacks. So I can tap 2 creatures I control, and from there it'll let me discover 3. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you discover, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with the mana value of its specification. So in this case, 3. From there, I can either play that card or I can put it into my hand. Now, Discover has been such a powerful aggro ability that came out in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan because it circumvents cost mechanics and lets you skip to filling out your board presence with even more creatures, giving you way more momentum or allowing you to disrupt the opponent's game plan if you're using spells like Play with Fire or Lightning Strike. Moving on, I'm also running the Coppercoat Vanguard, which gives all humans +1 strength and Ward 1, so a little more swinging power and defense, but its real strength is in how it synergizes with Baird, the Argivian recruiter. So Baird is a 2-cost 2/2 who creates a 1/1 soldier if I control a creature whose power is greater than its base power. This is so perfect because with the Coppercoat Vanguard, this would be guaranteed every turn. So more token spam and defense from attacking opponents that your main creatures won't have to be put at risk for. And finally, of course, for my 3 costs, I'll be running the Brutal Cathar, the Siege Veteran, and Anim Pakal, Thousandth Moon. So the Siege Veteran should be no surprise to anyone. It's been out for a while since the Brothers' War, and it's a great card that lets me put a +1/+1 on any of my creatures at the beginning of my combat phase. And if a non-token soldier dies, I create a 1/1 soldier artifact token. So this is super helpful for me retaining my board presence, and it synergizes really well with my Baird, my Warden of the Inner Sky, and of course Anim Pakal. Speaking of Anim Pakal, right? Anim Pakal is a 3-cost legendary human soldier and one of my win conditions. So its effect reads, whenever you attack with one or more non-gnome creatures, and all of my creatures are essentially human soldiers, so this is going to count every single turn. I can put a +1/+1 counter on an Pakal. Then I can create X number of 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature tokens that are tapped and attacking, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on an Pakal. So you can see how this starts to compound as I keep putting more +1/+1 counters on an Pakal, or even the Warden of Inner Sky, to constantly overwhelm my opponent with creature tokens. And then, as a little extra, I'm also going to be running the Restless Bivouac as a special land, and this card allows me to pay 3 mana to turn the land into a 2/2 Ox creature. When it attacks, I can put a +1/+1 counter on any creature I control. So again, another way to develop my win condition, another way to develop an Pakal or my Warden of the Inner Sky if I'm being disrupted by the opponent. Okay, so now that we have an idea of how the deck will function and run, let's jump into a battle and see its practical applications. Okay, so jumping into today's match, we're going to be playing against Witcher. And there he is, rocking his Elspeth the Resplendent avatar. Okay, looking at my opening hand, I've got 2 lands, a Recruitment Officer, a Brutal Cathar, Siege Veteran, looking pretty good. So I'm going to start out with my Restless Bivouac, just get that out there, sacrifice my momentum in the first turn, just to make sure I have 2 colors that I can potentially play, if need be. Okay, he's going to go ahead and do the same thing. He's playing blue-white, so Azurus. Put my Recruitment Officer out onto the field, just to get a good start here. Let's see what he might have in mind. Is he going to develop, or is he just going to keep putting out lands? Okay, so he's playing his Drogskull Infantry. That's a Spirit Soldier, so looking like we might be playing another Soldier deck here. Put another land out, and just thinking about whether I want to put my win condition out. Since he's got both of his lands tapped, I will put an Pakal out. Thinking about whether I want to continue developing my momentum, and I'm going to go ahead and use my Recruitment Officer as a sacrifice, just to get rid of his infantry. So looking pretty good with my Pakal at 2/3 right now, 1 gnome token, and a lot of options in my hand. He's going to put out another land, and he's going to put out his Dusk Legion Duelist. So for those of you who don't know, the Dusk Legion Duelist is a great card, great soldier card, that's going to allow you to get a new card every time you put a counter on it, once per turn. Okay, I'm going to put my Siege Veteran out, and go ahead and buff up my Pakal. I'll leave my Gnome untapped so it can defend, and that's going to give me 3 Gnome artifact tokens to attack with, along with an Pakal. Dusk Legion Duelist took one of them, but I'm looking pretty good here. My board presence is really expanding beyond his ability to control right now. He's got 3 lands, the Dusk Legion Duelist out, and I can have the Brutal Cathar or Lightning Strike deal with it. Now, okay, so he's going to go ahead and return my Pakal to my hand, and he's going to strike with his Dusk Legion Duelist. Go ahead and block that with my Gnome Artifact token, and another land. That's actually perfect. So I'm going to use my Lightning Strike to get rid of his Dusk Legion Duelist. I don't want to really give him the chance to get it back if I put my Brutal Cathar out, and now I'm going to go ahead and put Anim Pakal back out, give her a counter, and he's already recognizing his fate here. Taking a lot of damage. I'm just going to give him a good game back, see if he's going to wait it out till the end. Looking at his hand, and he will. He's going to put the Savior of Ollenbach out. Now, this is going to be a bit ironic. I'm thinking I'll probably put my Brutal Cathar out and take his Savior of Ollenbach. And that's going to actually be it. Witcher has recognized that he's got no way forward, so that's going to be it. And you can see I've got my diamond here, so definitely making my way up the ladder, getting a little better with each game. And that's going to wrap up today's showcase. I hope you guys got a good idea of how effective Boros soldiers can be, and it gave you some ideas for making deck synergies. I'm really enjoying soldiers at the moment, so I may continue the trend with another showcase, maybe next time by making an Azurus soldiers variant. And again, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this and want to see more of it in the future. As I climb ranked and get better at Magic, I want to continue sharing my strategies and thoughts about the game theory so we can continue improving together. And with that said, I hope you all have an awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next video.